Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Araza, and today I'm gonna do a different video, just more of an explaining video, because I was sleeping yesterday and I told you guys that I wanted to make videos only when I have inspiration to do so, and I just couldn't sleep. I was trying to make an anagram of a flowchart of how I view trading, how I view the trading game basically, and I just had all of these ideas and I just wanted to make it into a video, right? This is for me, but it's also to teach you guys as well. So this is the trading game as I understand it, why you're probably stuck and you'll never change if you don't follow this, right? So trading is the only profession in the world where you need to be an expert to even make money, okay? Any other profession, you can just have like a good product or a good sales and you can just clean house if you want, if you're good at that, right? Trading, you have to be the very best at multiple things to even make bank, right? That's why this is the most well-paid profession in the world, as you can see in the video. It's hard, it's risky, and all those that are on winning side and are constantly winning are either very good, very skilled, or they're lucky. But the lucky ones will eventually lose it all. Humility is very important in this business, and you learn it very fast. So there's an example. In my countryside city, there's a gym company which runs a monopoly, right? And there's they have like all types of gym brands and everything, and none of them have a spa, right? In a city with retired people coming from all around the world to rest and to relax and improve their health, right? So their biggest target audience doesn't have the biggest health feature. Their target audience, they don't have the best health feature to support them with, right? So if you just do like a gym with a spa in a majority of the city where the audience is that, and you can just also use that as a selling point for other people because it also improves performance and improves health and improves mood and everything. You literally, by just having this better product, right, you can do a better selling price. You can do like some aesthetics that can fit both youngsters and the old crowd, right? So you can do anything that makes it even better selling point. But with just a good product and just a few marketing, you can clean house, right? Otherwise, in trading, like I said here, for Corinne or Mosey, if you make something truly great, people will tell other people about it, and you don't have to force it, right? So if you're just great, if you just have a good product, you don't have to do any marketing, right? So in trading, however, if you aren't good at reading price action, you're always going to be offside, or you're just drawing models and you're just losing. If you don't have risk management, you have no risk to make money, because you need risk to make money. You're making money based on the risk that you're taking, right? So your money is a function of the money you have. You need capital, right? So if you don't have an edge or know where that edge fits in the marketplace, and if you can't read like market profiles, you also don't make money. If you're emotional or undisciplined, you don't make money. So in trading, you have to be an expert at everything just to make money, right? So you need to be an expert at price action, market profiles, risk management, edge, and emotional discipline. So that's why it's the hardest profession, but it's also the most freeing because you have all the time in the world, and once you get going, it's hard to get going. I'm just making like wages every now and then. If I can live my life, I'm free. I'm not wealthy. I have 4 payouts, but I'm already in the 1% of traders. 4 payouts is very hard for the majority of people. We just keep going. We're just in the battle, right? But this is how I view the market for now. So I know this seems complex. This seems like a very big flowchart, but it's actually very simple. So, trading game, as I understand it. So first, you need risk management, because if you have a very good risk, for example, 1-2 trades a day, and you have like 10% of trailing drawdown, 1% of capital, whatever is better for you. If you follow your rules, you always live to fight another day. So you have margin for mistakes, and so you can then compensate mistakes when we win, right? When you have an edge, your win rates and your RR, they're basically affected. So if your win rate is higher, your RR is going to be lower. Win rate is lower, RR is going to be up. For example, my friend Guy, that's his Discord name. He has like a low win rate, but then bro just cleans house. Like he makes a lot of money. And you have other people like, for example, JadeCap, 35% win rate, with just 2.7 RR, and he cleans house. He makes like 100,000 for every week this year already. So You don't need a lot of win rates. You just need one to compensate the other. That gives you a good profit factor. That's it. If you're selective, very selective, you can maybe influence both. Maybe. I have to test that as well, even more. But it's true that when I'm more selective, both get better. Okay, so then you need capital, right? And you need capital to make money, or else you can't make money. So you have more capital, you can have more bets. You have more bets, you have less stress trading because you're not going against a rushed timeline of trading drawdowns or losing a lot of money or whatever. So less stress, you're more filtering. More filtering, you have more mental capital and a better equity curve, so bigger payouts, and you're more consistent because you're being more filtering, right? So having more capital is important. That's why the hardest part is just the beginning, the part when you're still making payouts, right? Okay, and so this is the capital part, and then you go for framework, and most people basically they just look at their stats on their model and they're just like, oh my god, I have a big win rate and our probabilities are on my side, I can do whatever the fuck I want. No. The data that you're seeing is simply a reflection of how you performed then. And so the most likelihood is that you were simply reading the narrative well and context well, and you were applying your model according to that. And nothing else is real, right? All of your win rate and percentage and everything, they're not your model. They're simply your ability to read the market in the right place at the right time. So you can say it's a bit of luck. Like this data is not like really fixed. So if you really just focus on data, you're going to be losing in the long term. Data, too much reliability on data leads to inability to adapt and eventually demise. It's not a fixed game, and framework needs to be a part of the lens in which you view the market, which is the model. So I have a theory which the way you view the marketplace is like your model. So for example, if I'm looking for a 15-to-1 setup, let me see if I can just pull up trading view here for you guys. 1 second. Yeah, let me see if I can just pull up trading view for you guys. Yeah, so for example here, so if my model is basically just a fair value gap and then I look for a long. So I have a fair value gap here, and then here, this is a 4 hours, so let's imagine 15 minutes. So I'm looking for a long here. And so any positive price action here, any displacement here, I would be looking for long. So here, for example, imagine it displaced here. So I'll be putting a trade here, right? Because I view the market like this. I wait for a fair value gap because it's my highest probability entry. And then when I have a displacement, actually displacement is actually here. I then put a limit or I enter market or whatever, and I just long, right? So if I view the market like this, I'm just going to be looking for that. That's why I think the framework is very important for how you view the market, to be included in the model, so you can just adapt better. For example, my model, I would never long there. I would actually just be waiting for either something like that or just something like, which never hit, and this one, yeah. So my new model is looking for something around here. I'll be looking for SMT here to long, and it would have worked. And you also in a higher time frame breaker, so I now view the marketplace in a different lens, right? And we also here in a discount of this range. So here I'm looking to long below this, and I have a lot of confluences that this could be like the low of the day, so I'll be longing here, right? And then if you had SMT, which you didn't, unfortunately, you have like body here, SMT, 3 minutes, 2 minute thing, yeah, 2 minutes here. So you have body SMT here. So yeah, I'll be longing here. So this would have been my trade here. I would have longed here, and this would have been an instant trade profit, right? This would be my trade for the day if I traded today, which I didn't. And so yeah, it's very important that your model incorporates logics that can change between time frames, between market profiles, right? So model, it still lends into the marketplace. So if you don't have a market profile, if your model is a continuation, like I showed you, it's not going to work on an environment where the market is simply ranging, right? And so you need to your model needs to have a logic for that, right? So that's why you always need like liquidity or divergence, time, and confirmation, and then you take profits on structure, right? So we're just going over like the sectors that make trading, right? So you need capital, you need risk management, you need a framework, which is a part of the model, right? And then you have the prop firm game. And most of you have no idea how to play this. And I've been funded and I've managed around 300,000 and more. But I've actually done this wrong. So the stage 1 is just speed and aggressiveness. Getting capital. You just want to get out of the challenge phase once you know what you're doing, right? If you don't know what you're doing, you take your time, okay? You prove yourself that you know the job, okay? But the first stage is going aggressive. And aggressive does not mean over trading. It means taking the same trades that you do with a lot of risk. Okay, I have no idea how to then delete this. I'm writing. Okay, there we go. So you do the same trades with more risk. Okay, this is how you pass the challenge phase, right? And then you have stage 2, which is getting to the buffer zone or payouts, right? And so you get to the buffer zone and payouts, and then you buy more accounts, and then you scale. And this is the part where you are slow and methodical. You don't want to lose your funded accounts, and you want to get consistent payouts and above the buffer zone in your funded accounts. But then you want to get more capital, so you can just get more aggressive and then repeat the cycle. So this is also always a cycle, right? So you get more funded accounts, you go aggressive, doing what you know what you're doing, and then you go to stage 2. Some you're gonna lose, some accounts you're gonna lose. It's like it's randomness. You can't do anything. But speed here is more important. If you know what you're doing, you're wasting your time here. Your time is more valuable than just wasting money. Okay. Then stage 2 is just wanna basically just focus on growing. I put here a 3 months deadline, but this is not. You shouldn't never put a deadline. I'm just putting this because most of you think that. Like you see online, people making 100k a month, 100k a month. Oh my god, my drawing is amazing. So you see people doing like 100k months, and then you see people doing like 20k months, 30k, and like you think that's possible, right? And so you're just gonna overtrade, you're gonna fuck up, and you're trying to get to these levels, right? And it's not gonna happen. You get to these levels by doing the very good trades, the small but good trades, consistent, patient, but with capital. Okay? If you have 1 million and you do 10%, that's 100k. If you have 100k and you do 10%, that's only 10k. Okay, so if you want to do big numbers, 10% is very ridiculous. You're not going to do it, so you need more capital. That's it. More capital. That's all you need. Oh my god, please, no. Let me delete this. No. So you need more capital, right? So that's why I put 3 months here, because instead of focusing everything in just 1 month, you give yourself time to just do the right things, and you just focus on getting a payout every 3 months. Not that you have to, but you're gonna focus, you're gonna go from there. So like in the cybernetics law, which is the theology of systems, right? Oh my god, I'm so bad at writing, holy shit, in the computer. So cybernetics, which is the theology, okay, of systems, your process comes from the goal. So if my goal is a payout every 3 months, I have time, right? And so if I have time, why do I need to force trades? I do not. If my goal is to get like above getting a challenge and getting funded, I can do that in 1 to 2 months easily if I do the right trades, right? So I just need to do like what? 1, 2 good trades a week. If you do 1, 2 good trades a week, oh my god, trades a week. Oh my god, okay. If I do 1 to 2 good trades a week, and my goal is the payout in 3 months, what's stopping you? Like some trades you're gonna lose, some trades you're gonna. If you do a 2 hour, if you do 2 days a week where you do 2 RR and you get done, you're done, right? So 2 RR, you have 4 weeks in a month, right? In a perfect world, 2 RR, you have 4 weeks, so you do 2 a week, right? So you get 6 RR a week. And so this means that, imagine your risk for 1 R is 450. So this right here is 450 times 6, right? Which I'm amazing at math, so I'm gonna have to calculate that. I'm just good at seeing systems. So this is gonna be 2,700 a week, right? And so imagine you need, like, to get funded, you need 9K. So imagine you need 9K, so let's say 9K divided by 450. Sorry, 450 times 2, that's 2 RR, so 9K. So you need 10 trades, right? So you'd need at least 2 months to get funded if all was perfect, right? But now let's forget, you're in the challenge mode, so you're not gonna risk 450. You're gonna risk double than that, so you're gonna risk 800. So in a month, if you do everything right, you can get funded, right? And so what this means is that you literally can get funded within a month, and then you have another month where you can get the payout. So you basically have 2 months extra leeway, so you can even fuck up. You don't need to have a perfect month, and you can still win. So all you need to do is just stay on target and just be patient and think of the longer term. That's why I put, like, let me just delete all of this. That's why I said like a 3 months here, 3 months. It's like it's just using like the law of cybernetics and just basically using the goal as the threshold to make the process, basically. So basically to make the system. So basically, if you have a 3 months to make payout and the payout like just pays you a whole yearly wage, why are you gonna rush? You're just gonna be patient. And then you get on stage 3, which is you scale more, every payout is life-changing, you scale even more, you have less stress trading, you have more money for personal investments and personal capital, other investments, and then you expand more. Every payout is even more life-changing, more expansion. And this is, I'm still not here, I'm being totally honest with you. So this is the goal. Okay. And then mental. Okay, so mental and timing. That's the last aspect of this trading game. So if your financial conditions are tight, you're gonna have a lot of pressure and you're gonna do mistakes. And if our expectations, or even your expectations of making money faster, if they exist within you, you're still gonna make mistakes and feel the pressure, even if you have no pressure at all. And so this is solved by having cash flow outside of the marketplace, or bigger payouts give you more time margin. For example, if you have a payout of 10K, like of course, like you go for taxes, that's 5K for taxes, and you get 5K, like depending on your country, obviously. But that means that basically you have 5K. 5K, unless you're like living like a fucking lord. That lasts like half a year, man. At least in my country. Not sure how your country is. That's literally like most of people's wages nowadays, like in a half a year. So I mean, you're golden. 3 months for 5K, and then you just go 3 months again and you do it again, and you're fine. You literally outperformed everyone in your city, in your country. And then don't forget that with time you get more capital, and then instead of making 10K payouts, you make 20K payouts. So even every payout, taxes included, it's 10K. So basically you're literally every payout outperforming everyone else, just by being patient. So it's very important to have bigger payouts with more capital, right? Edge, knowing your model probabilities, you never stress on trades. If you know your model works and you know you can do it and you can just find where it works better, it's important. Then you're never going to be stressed as well. And skinning the game, like used to large numbers of fluctuation, you're not stressed in losses or scaling or whatever. This comes with time, let's say. Then common mistakes. So having not an edge, so no risk management is also not having an edge. Risk management is important to having an edge in the marketplace. Without this, you can't do this. Don't forget what I said. Like in trading, you need to be an expert in everything to make money. And so yeah, maybe you have an edge, but you have no lack of patience to execute it right. So you just gotta journal and understand why don't you have patience. Do you want it faster? Do you not want freedom? Do you not have like a reason to be patient? Why are you not patient? Is your life outside the trading charts like just short-term distraction? Are you just scrolling on TikTok, Instagram all day, YouTube? Are you lifting weights? Are you going out? Are you doing things like long-term, talking to people? Are you just... What is your life outside the charts? It's very indicative of your discipline. Do you drink a lot? Do you always go on parties? Are you always like filled with dopamine and not like long-term not long-term precision? That's not the opposite, but yeah, I think you understand what I'm getting at. Or you have an edge and you don't journal, and so you don't fix mistakes and you never improve. And if you don't improve, you're not gonna make money. It's impossible. Timing, mental fatigue, and money perception. So, for example, if you I said before, if you expect 10k months, 20k months, you need to win very much to outperform an average job, honestly, and which is very possible. But in the beginning, it's gonna take time. You have to brush smaller, like I said, and scale. That's what I said. Okay. Scaling, okay, same thing. Okay. Yeah. No deadline, trades everything you want. Okay, this is the same thing. So this is basically on perception of expectations and money, and you just want everything tomorrow, yesterday. And if you just take a step back and realize that if you take your time, you will win. It's inevitable. So just take your time. So yeah, this is what all of this is talking about. And now let's go for how do you improve if you're stuck, which is the title of the video. So you obviously have all these factors, right? And so you need to first find out if your edge works in the current market conditions. And do you know how to see the current market conditions? Yes or no? Ask this to yourself. And do you know if your model works in these current conditions? Yes or no? And have you tested it? And here's the answer. For example, me, I don't know when my model doesn't work as well. I don't know. Even with all this tests, I still don't have like a clear answer to this. And so this is where I take most losses, and this is where I have to work on. And I'm working on this right now. But I do know when the price action is shitty that I don't want to trade. But I don't know when my market is better, when my model is better or not, because my model is like integrates market maker model framework, and so it can literally be used anywhere if the framing is right. Now, am I doing the framing right? That's what I need to understand and where. But yeah, and my model is not mine, so this is the lab model from Kane. That's the model I'm using. Okay, so you keep making the same mistakes. For example, you trade on the same hours and you get taken out and price runs with you, or you take a break even and price goes to take profit, or you literally do you take two trades back-to-back losses, and it happens often that you want it, once you take a loss you take another loss. Or for example, you understand that on CPI days, like my friend Guy, he knows he doesn't trade CPI, like he has like 90% loss rate on CPIs because he practiced all of them. And so he knows that it's CPI news, he's not going to trade because he knows he's going to lose. And he might have win. If you go to the charts one day, like, oh my god, I would have won today. But he knows that 90% of the time, he loses. So it doesn't matter if one time it works, because it's what? Playing the long-term game. And the only way to win is playing the long-term game. You play short-term games, you want short-term satisfaction, you go find a job, my friend. Pays you at the end of the month, you're comfortable, you're stable. Probably more vulnerable because you're not as battle tested as we are, but life is simpler, isn't it? But it's not as good. So if you don't want to play the long-term game, you go find a job. Backtesting. So backtesting, you need to be practicing. I know a lot of mentors, including my own, which taught me everything I know. Very grateful to Casper. He taught me everything I know. But a lot of mentors, they basically don't say, like, actually it's not like they hate backtesting, but they're like, oh, you're a backtesting warrior. And I mean, I think this advice is more suited to people who just backtest and backtest and backtest because they're afraid of losing money. So this is the same as saying, yes, Kobe Bryant went to the NBA and he stopped literally practicing because he's in the NBA. Of course he's not going to stop practicing. He's going to practice even more, right? So I think the advice is for people who are afraid of losing, which is a guarantee in our business. You're always going to lose, always. As long as the equation of win rates and RR are positive and give you a positive profit factor, you have to be okay with losing. You have to be. And if you're not, the job is good for you. So yeah, backtesting is important so you can what? Practice your model in multiple scenarios and narratives, in multiple years with different macro scenarios and multiple different things. Example, it's my good friend Guy Trading on Twitter. This is a backtest with 1,500,000 profits with a 70% win rate and 9 profit factor, 77% win rate and 3.56 average win to loss. And this is mine backtest, so 300,000 profits, 64 win rate, 4 profit factor, 83% win percent a day, average of 2.5 RR. So I practice daily. I try to practice daily as when I can. I try to see scenarios and stuff where my model works and does work. So you should be doing this, and you should be always backtesting. You should be always practicing, always sharpening the knife. Okay. Tips for backtesting. So do one just for the model, so you be comfortable with it. And then when you're confident about it, just do another backtest and take into account the narrative and context and where the price is heading. If you nail where the price is heading, like the drawn liquidity, most likely you will do the right trades. So just focus on where is the price heading? Where is it going? What does it need? It needs liquidity. What is showing me that I can get liquidity? That kind of questions. You need to ask questions. You're a philosopher here, you're a scientist. If you don't ask questions, you can't have answers. So find out where your model is more likely and isn't, and just don't do it. Don't just do it. Like log the data manually in a Notion or whatever you want. Just look at the amount of data that I have. This is all mine. Like, you just gotta do it, man. Like, how are you gonna like see patterns if you don't log any data? Like, if you don't measure things, how are you gonna see data? How are you gonna see like where is it better, where is it worse? Like, how are you gonna improve? You can't. If you're not literally doing the work and having the data so you can just adjust, you're not gonna win. Period. You're not gonna improve. Every overnight success is just 1,000 iterations. You just need to try 10,000 things and then you become an overnight success. Okay? So just to clear here, like a lot of mentors, they say they don't want you to backtest, but they're mostly targeted advice for people who are just backtest warriors. But I think, in my humble opinion, I am not even close to my mentors, not even their level, that you need to practice so you can just stay on your task and stay on your, having your knife sharpened. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so timing is gonna be like, sometimes you're gonna miss your trade and you just can't force more trades. Timing is very important because trading is randomness and you have probabilities in your favor, but every time you're just an expert who does the right things at the right time, and then you wish for the probabilities to be in your favor, which sometimes aren't, sometimes are. And so this is, you just gotta embrace uncertainty. If you don't embrace uncertainty, if you expect every day to have something fixed, it's also not for you. Financial pressure, we talked about that here. So, I mean, if you have financial pressure, like, it's gonna be harder for you. And I've done this before. It's very hard. I made it happen, but it's hard. Timing, as I said, also if you just enter one account with normal risk and you don't enter all your accounts, and then you have a losing streak, one account gets saved and the others get wrecked, because one account was with the right risk and the others didn't enter that trade. So that's why you need to be in the same trades for every account all the time, unless you want like an account separate because it's like a different type of playstyle, or you want for longer term, or you want to literally have one account in case you fuck up the others, you could just split by groups basically. Abundance mindset. This is basically the long-term thinking for the short-term thinking. Like short-term thinking is basically a scarcity. So, oh, I need it today, so I need to win today. I need money today. Like I have no more time. Oh my god, it's over. Long-term thinking is more like, I know what I'm doing. I know the effects of the process. I can just wait. This is not for me. I don't want this. I want this. This is what I want. This, nah, this is horrible. And so I'm gonna wait for this, and I'm gonna wait for this, and I'm gonna wait for this. And when I have this, I'm good. Then I wait for this again. So that's it. Long-term thinking, you're not needing. You're waiting. You're patient because you know it's gonna come for you. You know. So yeah, it's important to have an abundance mindset. Actually, I would say it's actually required. Oh my god, it's gonna be hard to lead all of this. Okay, and disciplined life. So if you're in disciplined trading, you probably either not very disciplined outside trading, so you don't either go to the gym frequently, you don't need to, you can just do sports, whatever you want, and like you can do whatever you want that makes you feel healthy, or you're not just, maybe not sleeping early. This is something I have a lot of trouble with, honestly, which I do love sleeping early and I do love waking up early, but somehow it's hard for me, honestly. And do you like Instagram, TikTok a lot? Like, do you have like a lot of undisciplined habits? Oh my, I can't even write here. Holy shit, this is Egyptian cameras. Holy shit, it's over. So yeah, do you like do a lot of? Do you watch Instagram a lot? Do you just waste a lot of time? Like, because all the things you do in your life, just tell your subconscious that's who I am. So if you just waste of time, not life. Holy shit, that's aggressive. So if you do a lot of things that are just wasting your time and just undisciplined, you're telling yourself that that's a good thing, and so eventually that will translate to the marketplace. You are exactly what you do, not what you say you are. So if you just put in the work, you feel like you're the person who puts in the work. If you just talk about putting the work, you're a facade, and eventually and a farce, and eventually it's gonna be known. People know that. People can feel that. So yeah, this is basically everything I have for you. So this is my idea of how trading works. This is why you need to be the best in every field to make money in trading. This is literally the whole entire game of trading, which is comprised of capital, risk management, framework, mental factors, a prop game. If you're doing prop, you can do just other things. This is up to you. And then common mistakes. And how to improve those common mistakes. You need to be doing all of this. Okay? And journaling, you need to be, I don't think I talked about this actually. You need to be journaling your emotions. Why did you feel like that? Why did you react like that? I actually talked about this. Okay. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you had a good day. So I told you guys I would make videos when I feel inspired. Had inspiration to do this one. And yeah, catch you guys later. If I have another inspiration or something, I'll just pop back in and just make a video. See you guys.